In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black. In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black. Imagine that, a future that's super black. Long as your skin brown, your superpowers intact. What would your powers be? Just hope it ain't super whack. Spatial manipulation, create a portal that's black. Maybe just super speed, time travel to run it back. Or cheat manipulation to keep my spirit intact. As I encounter evils the world face, demons the world makes. I'm needed the world at stake. Rest in peace to Chadwick, they killed all the Black Panthers. Told us white lies, I still marvel at black answers. Suits in DC, pray it lead to a civil war. It ain't no Justice League, what's the need to be civil for? Propelled like the juggernaut, it's clear ain't no stopping this. The world in grave danger, who can stop the apocalypse? They killed all the heroes, the new ones don't really care. But if you need me, put your fist up in the air. Yeah, in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black. In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Thank you to all the people out there who's viewing us right now, to all the listeners who subscribe to the streaming platforms. Welcome to Blerds, Eyeview. Blerds, Eyeview is a podcast that covers geek culture and everything in between from a POC point of view. And I'm your host, Chris Fury, and with me is my co-host, Candi B. How's it going, Candi?
It's going. Then we got another co-host. It's my hair. That's how big it is today.
Yeah, you got a Monica Rambeau thing going on.
Okay. Well, I do need to go ahead and just bust that out.
I wish you would. That's your next closet cosplay.
I know. I need to. I'm
get that taken care of.
I'm trying to step my game up.
Yeah, you're already like showing me up with your all these closet cosplays, and I'm like, yeah, here I am producing shows and running a business, so I really don't have time yet.
No, you have to produce a show, run a business, and do that, because if you're gonna be Wayne Brady, I gotta be the female Wayne Brady. We gotta
yeah, we got a little bit of everything going on, man.
We gotta push each other.
So how's your week been?
It's been really good. I was talking to another friend who's just as theatrical as me, because I think I'm gonna find a dual purpose. He was born the day after me, so there we go.
Oh,
I'm gonna find dual purpose for my cosplays, because I think I'm gonna start busting some of them out when we go back to hosting bingo. So I'm looking forward to getting more than one use out of it, because of course we can have Britney Spears being like theme bingo, or heroes, villains kind of theme. So I'm very much looking forward to getting back out there and hustling. Ever since that vaccine rolled out, baby, places are trying to open, people are trying to get out.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I'm waiting on my second shot. I'm waiting after that. I think my superpowers will kick in. I don't know.
From when we were supposed to get them before.
Yeah, DC's checking us out right now. What's up, DC? He's out of town handling business.
Are you with me?
What's going on, brother? Hope you're being safe out there in the natty. So doing this thing.
We actually miss you. When I say me, I mean me, because normally I'm talking shit. I miss him. I miss my other, I'll call him my, what does CJ call me and D on the other podcast? Like we're tiger twins or something.
Yeah, the tiger twins. Tiger twins.
My twin flame tiger. I miss
that. Man. We had a lot going on the past week. But I think the biggest thing has been DMX passing away. He passed away yesterday.
For sure.
He passed away yesterday at 50, actually. He was 50 years old, this is rough, I mean, he battled a lot of demons, and he was a rapper, actor. He had hits such as Party Up in Here, Who We Be, X Gonna Give It To You, which can be heard on the Deadpool soundtrack, Where the Hood At, in films such as Belly, Exit Wounds, Cradle to the Grave, and Romeo Must Die.
Back in One Piece, which is a classic video, and just seeing those pictures of them together now is just heartbreaking.
Very surreal.
It's wild.
he battled his demons a lot. But he attacked his demons with the same aggressiveness that he had with his music, and he'll be missed amongst the hip hop community. He leaves behind like 15 children. I didn't know he had so many kids.
Yeah, they said like 15 or 17.
Yeah,
I was
so
like,
he left
okay,
behind a lot of kids.
That was very rapper-ish of you, but everything else about you wasn't stereotypical rapper. I would say one word I would associate with him is authentic, and you don't get to say that about a lot of rappers.
Right.
And he was like on the court, off the court, same guy. And that's something you got to see even in all of those authentic interviews he got to do. How blessed were we that we got to see him do a verses? Like all this stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that actually did go down, and I'm glad that happened. And when you look back now, he got to have his flowers now, and I'm happy about that. And even in one of the last interviews he did, they had asked him if he was like to drop dead now, like what would his last thoughts be? And he was like, I lived a good life, and not a lot of people can say that. Yeah, so and be comfortable with it at the same time.
Comfortable with it. He probably lived with like no regrets, good, bad, or ugly, and that's something to aspire to. So,
in other news, DC says Scott Summers. I don't know why, but I guess he has to drop Scott Summers at least once in the episode. Scott Summers has to be dropped. I don't know what that's all about, but whatever.
Shut this whole showdown. We don't talk about him.
Yeah, like we can't do that one today.
Yeah. We do not do that here.
So tonight we got a lot of topics. We'll be talking about the possible appearance from everyone's favorite Spider-Man in the next Spiderverse. Fans are rallying behind Journey Smollett to play Black Canary for HBO Max series. That should be something fun. And the ongoing drama behind the scenes of Justice League, and that's going to be like our main topic. There's so much to dig and wade through on that one. But we can't do all of that without our guest. You already see who our guest is? Our guest is Lena Saint. Lena Saint is the CEO of Dope Girls Comics LLC, based out of New Jersey, and she's here to talk about her new comic, Afro Demon. Welcome to the show, Lena.
Yay! I got to do the claps because DC ain't here to press.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he's normally my sound guy. I knew something was missing from this trifecta. All
the extra noise.
Yeah, the little extra noise, you know. So how's it going, Lena? Thanks for coming on the show.
Great. Thanks for having me.
So tell us about Afro Demon. What's this about?
Okay, Afro Demon. Okay, I let a few of my friends and other people in the comic community read the rough draft, and they kind of, they know my personal life, so they're like, "Oh my God, is Afro Demon about you?" And I'm like, "No." They're like, "Are you Keisha?" I'm like, "No, I'm not Keisha." And
wait, before you go on, but are you Keisha? That's the
question. No.
maybe not. But no, I won't reveal that. But Keisha is a 19-year-old girl that's on a bench trying to take down the villain who murdered her father. And later on, she learned that there's a lot into why her father was murdered. And also her plan on taking down, I can't say his name. Well, some of you know his name already, if you're already on Instagram. But the villain, Big D, she's on a plan to take him down, because she still had the hurt, the pain, and then the things that he's doing in the community. So it's like a big thing. I don't want to talk about it because
you don't want to give too much away.
To read it, right?
Yes, but read it.
Now I know it. Now I heard you just finished your Kickstarter. So you said you met your goal, you went over your goal. So congratulations on that.
Yeah. Thank you.
What started you on this path of creating your own comic? Did you have inspiration?
Ooh. Okay, the first inspiration I have is I have a 6-year-old, a little girl, and I think Princess and the Frog came out a little bit before her. But growing up, I didn't have a Black princess, so that was a big deal. So I'm like, at least my daughter gets to see at least one Black princess, and I'm like, how can we create more? So I made it my business to, and also I grew up on Marvel, watching Storm, Panther, everyone. It wasn't a lot of characters that represented us.
Right.
So I didn't want my daughter having to, like, why we don't have characters that look like us or have the same background as us, background stories like us. So I just took it upon myself to create my own. Instead of asking them to alternate, I just decided, look, I'm gonna do my own thing. And it worked for me. And I'm happy I did it because now my daughter like, oh, mommy, when I'm gonna have my own comic book. So
That's so true.
every day she asks that. And I'm like, when you have your own little story, let me know. And then we'll talk about it.
This is like Orinthia Blue from
Lovecraft.
That's what it is.
But it's nice to see that, and that you decided to create a space and have your own table instead of asking for a seat at one. So
right. Because I did not want to be one of those Black people. We don't have no one that look like, oh, they need to do this, and asking Marvel to, I just like, you know what? Let me just do my own. And I created Afro Demon. I created Keisha. She's a female lead character in Afro Demon. She's spicy. And I was inspired by Pam Grier, Foxy Lady and everything.
It shows. It shows.
Right.
It really shows.
I'm like, what exploitation films was she watching? Because I see these.
That's the straight vibe I was getting.
Right. Pam Grier, she's my idol. Like, I look up to Pam Grier. She was badass when I was watching her growing up. And then I was inspired by Uma Thurman. I'm getting her name.
Yeah. Oh no, you got it. Yeah, you got her name.
Yeah. So I came up right. I love badass characters, and especially badass women that play these roles. So I put 2 and 2 together. Pam Grier makes Kill Bill. Boom, Afro Demon.
Makes one badass sister. That's what that makes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So Keisha is definitely a badass.
So is this a character? Is this a universe you're trying to build? Like, you want to create your entire whole universe?
Yes, I'm trying to take down Marvel.
Well, so somebody has to match them, because WB and DC can't seem to make it.
Listen, they are literally becoming like the evil empire that's taking over everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to take. I also looked up to Stan Lee, even though I didn't like what he did to Jack Kirby. So every time I meet my art, like, I talk to my artist, like, look, I got you. Like, if anything happened to me or like, you are good. Like, you're gonna be good. So it's like, I want to also be fair and humble about Dope Girls Comics and the content that I put out. As long as I get the Black community involved into what I'm doing, we're good. It's all about giving back to the community and having people that look like them when it comes to these animation and everything.
And I think your timing is so great, because I think in the last few years, a lot of POCs have been all about purposely seeking out other ones in all types of different areas. So the first thing we're going to is it Black owned? Can you point me in the direction of that? So do you feel that support from the community right now?
Yes, I feel that support. I never had, well, when I first started, I started with another individual. And he co-wrote it. I'm sorry, I speak another language. I speak Creole, so sometimes I get tongue twisted. I'm Haitian, so I get tongue twisted a lot. I had another writer. My first story was going to be called Bad Bitch Galaxy, and that was a whole different story from Afro Demon. He wrote most of the story, so it was a little drama there. And he made me so mad. This is a Black brother. And he made me so mad to the point where, like, you know what, I'm going to start my own content and everything. And he was the main one that said, oh, you can start it, but you're not going to make it. You're a female. You're a Black female doing this. Like, who's going to really do? Right.
Oh, I love when folks say I can't do something.
Right. and I made it so far with no book or anything.
She said, no help.
That was enough.
There you go.
And that right there was enough, like, to even prove, like, what is you talking about?
Yeah, to hear it. I mean, to hear that your own people basically come from that toxic place, whether they mean it or not. You know,
I feel like they mean it.
Yeah, there's times where they do mean it. You know, there's times when they do mean it. And in the case of, like, telling you, oh, you're a Black female, you're not going to make it. That's just like, you know, why are you cutting me down You're supposed to be
Right.
helping me. Now
I
you're just.
I believe he saw what she was capable of and was jealous. And I wouldn't be surprised if you had men or women around you that were jealous of your spark and your light, because I feel like you're great and I only stalked your page for a little bit. And I'm like, she's dope. And then the little bit of time we got to talk before we started recording, I'm like, she's dope. And that's a vibe you either subscribe to or you want to fight and you want to cut down. So I'm glad you didn't let that get to you, because a lot of people would stop doing what they're doing and you let that motivate you.
Yeah, that motivated me a lot because my daughter looks up to me. So it's like I had to do it for her. The girl comics is for her. Even though I had a lot of offers that, oh, do you want to, partner up? Can we do this? I'm like, no, because the girls comics is a lot. It's for my daughter, it's for me, it's for generations down to come. So I always like turn it down.
I know I'm interested in this bad bitch galaxy though. Like,
yeah, and it was going to be a dope story. So I'm like, you know what? Bad Bitch Galaxy is always going to be mine, even though it won't become a story. So I'll probably just create a universe for that with different characters, and then find different lanes that I want to put that in. But as far as Dope Girls and Afro Demons, it won't be part of Bad Bitch Galaxy, because Afro Demons is more for something to go mainstream, and it's for the community, and I want us to be represented the correct way, the right way, and our way. So it's like, yeah.
So Afro Demon is like you described her as Pam Grier / Beatrix Kiddo from Kill Bill. Is it like supernatural based sci-fi type of?
They do have powers. Keisha do have powers. Big D have powers. Other characters that may come along have powers. So I would say it's like I wouldn't say X-Man-ish, even though I do love Jean from X-Men.
Tell you who you don't like.
Right. So yeah, I would kind of put it in that kind of.
That's dope, though. I like that concept. I think it's really dope that you don't get, and like I said before the show when I was talking to her, you don't get a lot of platforms and support, even within the own community, the Blerd community sometimes, to have that kind of this bad bitch galaxy type of mentality. Like, look, there's enough room for all of us to survive, not only just survive, but to, thrive and make it, and put other people, to shame and say, hey, look, I did it. You can do it too. Let me help you. Not take advantage of it, and not,
exactly. Or try to like put somebody down so you can go further.
Exactly. So I mean, did you have questions, Candi?
Yeah, I came a long way in a whole year, and it's only been a year. And
girl, you better work.
Yeah.
That's the hustle.
I love that, because sometimes people think it takes like 15, 20 years. And for some people, they have been hustling like that their whole lives. And other people, they were committed and they were consistent. And anything you're committed and consistent with, shit, just like the gym, it can pay off with your artistic endeavors. So that's really dope to hear. Yeah. So I want more cosplay from you, Chris. No excuse. She did what she did here. You're not gonna be like, I'm too busy for cosplay. No, you're not.
It's just certain ones I'll need to, upgrade on. That's all it is. I'll be, get
it together. So I stalked your page a bit, like I said. Yeah. And what's going on with Lee? Because I saw the outfit, I saw the ponytail, and I said that one. I like that one. What's going on with that one?
Okay, Lee. I'm trying to write a manga. That's one of my goals, to write a manga. But if I can't get through with it, I'll just make it another indie.
Okay.
I grew up watching Xena, and I'm getting.
Yes,
we're at the same time.
Yeah. I grew up watching Xena, so I came with this story. It's called Kill Venus. This also came about when that individual tried to kill my dreams, and I had to. Lee and the other girl that you see all the way at the bottom of my page with the black outfit, she was the first character I ever created, and she was going to be the main character from Bad Bitch Galaxy. So, I couldn't use the story, so I'm like, okay, I got to write my own story. even though I ended up writing Afro Demons first, I still never, you know, I still needed a home for the other characters that I left behind. So I created Kill Venus. So that's a whole different story that had to deal with 3 badass women, 3 different storylines. So that's coming out later on, probably next year.
Yeah, I'll definitely be peeping.
She got some stuff in the tank.
I was
Yes,
intrigued. I like when someone's art immediately makes me interested. Like, okay, I want to know everything about this person. I'm on the journey.
Yeah.
So
like it's already in my head, and I'm like, oh, you got Afro Demon, and then you got these 3 sisters and Kill Venus. You got Bad Bitch Galaxy.
Yeah, Kill Venus. That's like, oh my god, like what are you?
I'm like itching because I'm a very big supporter of bad women, like badass women. That is such a thing for me to see women. Like that's why when you mentioned Xena, I was like, yes,
yeah,
you know, you know. So I'm just like, you know.
And I don't see a lot of, I don't see, other than Game of Thrones, I don't see a lot of, you know,
Arya
something
Stark.
like Xena. So it's like, let me create my own Black Xena.
Yeah, and I think that's the only time I'm Team Stark is when it's Arya Stark, you know, because to be the youngest Stark and to be that badass.
Damn back. I'm like, child, just give her a spinoff and let her do her thing. I would have watched her. I would have watched her for like 6 more seasons.
Yeah, because she was
fantastic character.
I came to America watching Xena. I think that was one of my first shows. They didn't speak that good English, and I'm like, oh my god, what the hell is this? This is good.
Xena was good. Xena was awesome.
So good.
Right.
And I love that she never felt like a character that compromised. And I like that from the standpoint because I think we're subliminally taught as women, you're going to have to compromise and give up something. And Xena's like, no, I'm gonna have it all. So I'm gonna be with Hercules, I'm gonna be with Ares. I'm gonna kick it over here, I'm gonna kick it over here, and then I'm just gonna go away if I want to. And I'll deal with it when I deal with it, if I deal with it. And it was like, this is who I want to fucking be when I grow up. I want this outfit. I want these weapons. I want this world. They did such a great job with that show.
Right. Yes, they did. So that inspired me to write Kill Venus, and that's coming out next year.
Oh, we got you.
Yeah, we're keeping eyes out.
We need to come back on for the premiere. We already we're going to put in first bidding. I'm a very busy woman. We're gonna put in first bidding. Like, don't forget, y'all heard it here first. Kill Venus, she coming back.
Anybody who comes on this show, you got some new stuff, you gotta come back.
We're making you come back.
you
have to come back.
You guys are dope too. I will definitely.
Oh, thank you. We tried so hard.
We definitely tried. It's hard around here. It's hard out here for them. So I have another question too. Who in the community are you like enamored by? Whose work do you look at and you're just like that person, even if it's somebody that not a lot of people know, because this is the time to plug other artists too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think right now my biggest competition to me, I think, is Impound Comics.
Okay.
By Brett Tracy. He is, the marketing that they got going on over there is dope. His storyline is dope. His characters, everything is just the way he just have everything put together is so freaking dope. And I also look up to Black Sand. I love what he's doing with his platform.
Beautiful.
Talking about the hell with mainstream. Good Lord. Like my man is pushing it in. It was like, you can't make this. And he was like, why do I got over 1 million copies sold already? Like more than you.
Right. And Concrete Comics. They're also dope. Even though they even asked to if I could be part of the team, but I'm like, let me be hot first by myself. If it doesn't work out, then I got you guys. So shout out to Concrete also, Bristol Media Group. Max got a great ass story, and that's for the culture, like people from the West Indies and everything in the hood, the projects. His story is dope. And Great Gallico, he have an Afro futurism manga. Crazy.
You just sold me on 3 words right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you got me some melanin and some big hair. I'm like, I don't care what's going on. Sign me up.
Just sold me on the whole deal.
Story.
I'm like, she said Afrofuturism manga. I'm like, well, I'm sold.
Yes. Storyline, so dope. It's like a mini Black Panther. It's like a mini Black Panther, but for the future. So I give him credit
That's
for
all
that.
that's behind me.
Yes.
That's all that's behind me. Like when she said 2 letters, BP, sold. I'm sold.
Yeah.
What is it? Black
Say
Panther. I'm sold. Say less, like you say. Say less.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's dope. But I can't wait to get more work from you. The other 2 projects you have, the Bad Bitch Planet and Kill Venus.
That's coming.
I'm ready.
We're pretty sold on this Bad Bitch Galaxy. I don't know if you've noticed. I'm like,
right, like I'm already on the fence. Like, I'm not even on the fence with this. You know, I'm so ready to go with this.
I just like to say stuff like that, especially you can imagine being at a con and I'm dressed as the character. And I'm like, what is that from Bad Bitch Galaxy? Like,
oh yeah.
If
I end up going to BlerdCon, I'm gonna be Keisha, and I want to have a challenge. I think I want to get to telling Montel about it, Navy Montel. Yeah, I want to ask him if I could have a challenge there where every little Black beautiful women dressed as Keisha, the best afro, best platform boots.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I heard so many great stories out of BlerdCon. Like, and everybody that's gone has said the same thing. It was like, it's like coming home. That's just like that. The vibe is exactly. This was like right on the heels of Black Panther. They were just like, it's literally like Wakanda. And I'm like, shit, I missed it. You know,
the closest I came to that was I finally went to Afro Punk 2019. I went in Brooklyn, and I just felt like, why have I never done this before? And it was beautiful scene, and it wasn't a con, but of course people are there in their hippie-esque costumes, and to see people be so free, I'm like, I need more of this. BlerdCon was definitely on the list before, you know, your cousin COVID ruined everything.
I don't claim that bastard. So we are at the part of our show where we talk about the news of the week, and some of the topics that have come up has been rumors. Now there's been so many rumors surrounding the Spiderverse, but the latest rumor to come out is that a certain Spider-Man will be showing up, and it's from the 1990s animated series that was voiced by Christopher Barnes, may be showing up in the next Spider-Verse film. So what do you guys think about that? That is crazy.
Start with our guest.
Yes, Lena, what do you think about that? Let's get a picture up there to see these 2 side by side. That would be dope.
I think what movie was that? Was that the first Spider-Man in the 90s, you said?
Yeah, the 90s Spider-Man, yeah.
Cartoon.
Yeah, and the Amazing Spider-Man. God, that was, I'm trying to think how long that series ran. I think it was about maybe 5 seasons, maybe at best. I think
the 90s one or the Amazing one?
Oh no, it was an Amazing one, wasn't it? Like after that. Good Lord, because they had so many different versions.
They did a couple of them, but I feel like the only ones that matter were that one from the 90s.
The 190s.
The one that was Amazing Spider-Man that boy from Drake and Josh ended up voicing.
Yeah, the one on that was the Disney XD version one, which was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was good.
Yeah,
I think it will be dope. What you guys think? I think it will be dope.
Oh,
he did the movie.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it because like the intro alone, like I used to record that show. And I didn't even care. I let it play because I wanted to hear that intro is just as synonymous as the X-Men animated intro. Those are 2 of the 2 hardest intros of an animated version cartoon in the 90s, period. Hands down.
You let it play out. That show was like, although like there were some problematic moments with Mary Jane, but that aside, that show, was jumping off buildings and shit.
What is wrong with you?
Weird, but in the time, it was just, I think that was one of the first shows outside of X-Men that I just fell for. And I'm like, this is a part of my new kind of going into that tweenager age, because I was kind of done watching the regular Saturday morning cartoons. So then you're doing something that you felt like was adult. And I don't know about y'all, but I felt like what we had in the 90s with those shows, we had more like adult themed stuff we were watching. We were watching adult. When you think about Gargoyles and just other shows you're watching, I'm like, these were grown ass shows.
They were getting there. They were
They're
there.
like so much and nitpicking so much now. I don't think these next generations, it's going to be a minute till they come back full circle to kind of giving them that energy again. But we had some fantastic content, so I'm here for anything that's tapping into that nostalgia. And because that's my favorite Spider-Man. Like, it's no brainer to bring him into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I am so on board
to have him doing it.
And it'd be perfect with Miles. I think that that personality, that'd be closer to how Miles is in understanding than anybody else he was kind of up against, where it was like a struggle to connect. I don't think he's gonna have a struggle to connect with this version.
Oh no, like I said, it's one of those things where you want it, like just the last film alone was, you're just like, oh God, they can do anything now. They can literally pull off anything out. They can pull a rabbit out their hat at this point, and we're gonna go for it because this is just good stuff. And that show for me was quite possibly one of the best shows out there, like the guitar riff alone. But like you said, the problematic Mary Jane, oh boy, she actually was making me mad. I'm like, Jesus, why are you so damn needy? Can you let this man do his job? Like, he's folding.
I'm like, you know, Peter really loves you, but that was the first version of like Hobgoblin and all them. I was actually shook. Like, those villains, anytime they came on the scene, I was actually like, all right, I can't wait till next Saturday. I need this resolved now.
I mean, we were seeing some major stuff. I think possibly besides Mary Jane being crazy, because she was. Was seeing Blade for the first time animated, and he was doing crazy stuff like using his motorcycle to drive on top of the building. I'm like, my dude. Come on, my dude.
Doesn't have to make sense. It's cool.
But it like, I actually got that version of the toy and everything, and I was just like, but my dude, you were still driving on the building with a motorcycle.
And you know, on the Disney XD one, when they brought him in for like a 3-part series episodes they did with like the Howling Commandos, which was the dopest shit I had ever seen in my life, animated at the time. He was doing wild stuff then too, and I was like, is this a callback to the dumb stuff we saw in '96 that didn't make any sense? And it was still good though. You just don't ask any questions. You're just like, all right.
This is just dope.
It's just dope. So you can't question it. You'll ruin it.
I enjoyed every minute of that show. You could tell, like, near the end of its run, like, you'd be like, oh, you guys are starting to run out of stories. You could tell, like, they were really starting to jam a lot of stuff in, you know, like the alternate universes of Spider-Man, you know, like it was all these different versions. And
it was just like weird stuff happening.
Yeah, and then he finally meets his maker, which is Stan Lee, and they didn't mention Steve Ditko, which pissed me off a little bit. But but you know, Stan Lee voicing it, you know, voicing his, you know, he's meeting his creator. He's literally meeting his creator, and it was just like, like, this is one of the moments where you get to, you know, Stan Lee had always lent his voice to animated shows before, but this is one of them times where you really start noticing it in your childhood. You're just like, man, he met the man, and he was really like dropping knowledge bombs on him. He was just like, I've never went web swinging before, and he's just going with him, and it was like the father-son talk, and like whatever all the stuff he was going through, he broke it down to him. He was like, thanks. And I was like, yeah, your dad actually gave you some advice. Now you can go back to your universe and get your shit together. So
I wonder, like, as well loved as he is, and like Stan Lee fans don't come for me, but just thinking about it from a business aspect, I wonder if to be successful in the business world, period, in that way, like to that height of fame, you have to make some savage moves, because it almost seems like by default, a lot of people that are that high up end up making some, especially if they have partners, collabs, they end up making some moves that a lot of us would be like, that's harsh, you're not supposed to do that, but they wouldn't be where they were if they didn't.
I think it was a combination, because I did see basically a documentary a couple of years ago, and it talked about their relationship that they had and how Stan has always been the out front animated type of guy. And Jack Kirby, he was, even though he was the brains and everything about, you know, creating the people, he wasn't very, how do you say, camera
Probably wasn't extroverted enough.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. He was very much an extrovert, you know, and it showed. You know, he was just very to himself, but he was freaking brilliant at what he did. Like my man helped build 2 different houses, like Marvel and DC. You know,
give me my money,
right? You know, and I think it was a combination of like Candi B said, it might be a little bit of savagery involved, a little bit of misunderstanding, and
I think
shit just kind of.
I have to be, because I think you took advantage of somebody being shot.
Like they discussed in the doc that they said like it took some time, like it was a radio show that Stan was on, and Jack called in and they talked, and at first it looked like it wasn't an argument because they played the audio, but they hashed it out, and then like they kind of hashed it out. They didn't really squash it. They kind of hashed it out at that point. But then when they seen each other again, it was actually before Jack died. It was at some function, and they seen each other and they actually talked. And they said that's when they made up. That's when they just squashed all the beef and everything. And it was done. And I was just like, I'm sitting there watching this thing, and I'm like, 2 of my favorite people. I'm over here shedding a tear. Ain't this a bitch? You know? And so, yeah.
That's your shit for your favorite people.
Yeah, yeah. Jack wasn't a businessman. Yeah, he wasn't. He was just the brains behind it. You know, they told him how to do it, you know, or they described what they wanted. Boom, he drew it out.
I always think about those type of people because I'm like, it always sucks for them if you don't have somebody when some real business moves are about to go down that have your back wholeheartedly, because you're going to get left in the dust because you're introverted, because you don't know much about business. And if someone else is a bit more savvy and they're extroverted, you're going to get kind of thrown away each time, unless they really have your back.
But see, the business of comics has, from what I've seen, has always had a level of savagery that just knows no bounds. You know, you create these characters, and I'm glad like people like Lena is in a stage where I don't want to join this. I want to do this for me. This is mine. You know, when you have people like the Jerry Schuster and Joe Siegel creating one of the world's best known superheroes, which is Superman, and they got a check for $200, and that sucks. You know, it took decades after they died for them to even get recognized on a lot of stuff. And then in the families, to this day, the family still fights for certain stuff. They're like, hey, you can't show that unless you throw the family name up there. You just can't do that, you know.
And you would think people would know better. It's like, come on now. Like, really?
Yeah.
I know it's like $1 billion character, but come on.
Yep.
I heard about that too, because I love Watchmen. And the same thing I heard I watched some cool kind of thing on Netflix about toy origin stories as well as cartoon characters. So I watched this whole thing on Ninja Turtles and was like, holy shit. Like, that was insane. I'm like, what is going on? Because I used to think it was just as easy as, well, I came up with this character and she's a badass female, and then I just got this deal and now we're on our way. It ain't that at all. And there's so much behind the scenes drama. And as soon as that first check hits or a camera's in somebody's face, that's it. You get to see the real people, like who's in it for themselves. And it's always that person that was thinking more that gets screwed, because they're like, I thought that we decided this is what we were going to do with these Ninja Turtles. And it's like, well, I decided we were doing A, B, and C, and it worked, so I'm done. That story was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's happened. I mean, it's why Image Comics was created, for that exact reason. You know, it was so much we're going to create this character for Marvel, or we're going to create this character for DC, and we're going to and they're not getting the recognition, or they're not getting paid what they feel is their just due, or whatever the case may be. It's like, or you're creating this character, and once you create the character, it belongs to the company. It doesn't belong to the creator.
Yeah, right.
You know, so they're just like, well, we're going to leave. We're going to leave, and we're going to Max agrees. Yep. You're like, we're gonna leave and we're gonna go create our own show, our own business, which is where we get The Walking Dead and now Invincible, which is on Amazon Prime. Check it out. Great show.
Which I've heard nothing but great things about.
Read
Yeah, I
the
heard
series.
about it.
The series is it's no longer running. The series ended years ago, but
Yeah.
it's probably one of the best, and they even touted this on the cover of their book, one of the best superhero books that was out.
Oh wow.
And it really was. It told you a story. Robert Kirkman had a vision for this character and the world around him. He told the story, and he told the beginning, middle, and the end, and that's it. He had a whole vision in mind, and he told it, and he told that story, and it was a great story. You know,
Well, I hope I enjoy it, like,
insane.
I hope I enjoy it more than when I started to finally watch the DC animated Harley Quinn. I stopped after episode 1, and I just knew I was going to love it because I love Poison Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge like Harley Quinn fan, but I'm like, I love Poison Ivy. I'll watch it for her. And I'm like, I can't get with this, and I don't know why.
I couldn't even watch.
Finish watching it.
I couldn't even watch the movie. What's that? The
You didn't watch it? I didn't watch it either.
No, go ahead, Brandy. Go ahead, watch the animated Harley Quinn show, and I'm gonna tell you one reason why.
Mm-hmm.
King Shark.
Okay.
And
how long do I have to wait for that?
Oh no, he's after the first. It might be in the first episode, but King Shark, Clayface. Watch Clayface. Is Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk has 2 jobs on that show, and he does 2 voices on that show that I know of. He does the Joker's voice, and he does Clayface's voice. And the way he plays Clayface, you're used to seeing Clayface from the 90s Batman show. He plays Clayface like this out of work thespian. Like they have to like so it's such a comedic turn because like there's a scene in one of the episodes where they have to break into this vault, this whole vault to get this one tech piece. And it was like Harley says, Clayface, I need you to pose as this lady or whatever. He was like, well, does she have a background? Like, is she?
Oh my God.
She was like, what? She was like, I don't give a fuck about that. She was like, well, I think she's going to be a divorcee with 2 children. And he's talking almost like Shakespeare. Like, dude, just pose as the woman.
That sounds interesting. Her voice is killing me. I know it's the girl from the Big Bang Theory that's doing her voice. And I just can't. I'm like, you're not giving me the accent that I want. And I can't. Like, girl, no. And then I don't like the Birds of Prey was horrible.
Yeah.
That's funny. My oldest watched it and I was like, nope. Yeah, I couldn't do it. And I liked some of the actresses that were going to be in the film, but I was also like, I'm not interested. And I like Margot. I feel like she's a phenomenal actress, and I saw her in Wall Street, and I saw her in I, Tonya. I was like, girl, you can really act, and you can do beyond like the pretty blonde thing. And I like you for that. But
Clayface is hilarious. Thank you, John. Clayface is hilarious.
Then I'm gonna have to watch.
He's very method acting. He's like I said, he does the whole. This the crazy part. After they pull off the heist and they get in their van and go to their hideout, she was like, okay, we got the piece. He was like, Jim, the security guard is going to be disappointed when Karen doesn't show up for his date tonight. And I was like, dude, but it's Alan Tudyk, and he does all these who needs to be recognized more because he does a lot of voice work, and he's very hilarious in what he does. But yeah. He's right. John's right. It is very funny in his delivery. I
just like that they actually let it be known from episode 1 that Joker and Harley have an extremely abusive relationship. I like that because we don't get that enough, and they played with it like a little bit in the animated series, but that was just so. It was campy and Art Deco and a little dark, but it wasn't like going to the extreme when she first hit the scene with the Joker. So him pushing her off a desk and kind of talking to her crazy, maybe leave her somewhere, it didn't seem like the end of the world. And I think now that we're older and we view things differently, it's like, no, that wasn't good, and this isn't something we should glamorize. So I liked from episode 1, Poison Ivy is like, he does not love you. I staged all of this to show you how much he doesn't love you. And break up with him, and I like that, but I don't know. We'll see. I might wait it out to get to Clayface. We'll see.
Yeah, it's there are some moments in that show that they're definitely worth checking out. Like, it's more comedic than anything. especially the way they do Batman. It's the way they do Batman, and it's the way they do Commissioner Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon, when he came with his coffee cup and he was like shaking, and I
threw you off, didn't it?
It did. I was not expecting like that. Like it was giving me like how stressed out he was in Batman Year One, but just this manifestation of it, like animated, like this. You've seen things, you've gone through. Like you're a little touched. Like I like how they played him. I like how they played him.
Oh my God, you said a little touched.
A little touched. That mug came, girl. He was like.
He got the 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, and his like clothes were all like wrinkled. I was like, what is going on? Because normally when you see Commissioner Gordon come on the scene, whether he's animated or even in the movies, he's a little distinguished. You know what I mean? He kind of seems like he's together until he's not. Nah, he came on the scene, shook up. And I was like, huh?
Like he doesn't have it together at all. And if Batman ain't there, he just falls apart.
That must be funny. I'm like, what am I watching?
Oh my God. So since we're in the world of DC, there has been talk. This just came across my line not too long ago, or earlier today, actually. There has been talk about Journeys. Since you did not see Birds of Prey, the highlight of Birds of Prey, besides Margot Robbie playing a pretty good Harley Quinn, was Journey Smollett playing
outfit.
Yeah, playing Black Canary. She really did a great job as Black Canary. She was in this. She was very kick-ass. This is probably the most active I had seen Journey Smollett besides Lovecraft Country. And the fans are calling for an HBO Max series for her. If you was to see her, you'd be like, oh yeah, I can see this. Like, you don't see her exhibit her abilities till much later in the film, and she said it's a reason why she does it. She just doesn't want to embrace it, but at this particular point, she has to. So, she's actually a great actress.
I like her.
She's really a great actress, and to see her, and I know why a lot of fans were upset. They were like, it's a Black woman playing Black Canary. Like, you're not used to seeing that. I get that, but she pulls it off. Not only does she pull it off, she does it well. She's fractured, she's damaged, and she's trying to play low key. Is the best thing she can do. Right. And I'm all for that. If you watch it, if you just can muster it up to watch it, check it out. Check out her scenes. They're very good scenes.
I'll just look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll look Play Fakes up on YouTube, and I'll look her up on YouTube, so I don't have to sit through.
It was really hard. Everything else was just kind of like, all right, if it wasn't Harley, or Black Canary, some of the other stuff is just kind of really.
And the previews made it seem like it was going to like be visually stunning and maybe give me some like cosplay ideas. But other than that,
it did give the most cosplay ideas that it gave anybody that I've seen is Harley.
Yeah,
just the way she was, just the way she dressed. Everybody else, well, I've seen one other. You know what? I seen as a matter of fact, I seen Cheyenne Jazz Wise cosplay as Black Canary, the outfit that she wears in the film. She did do that. I probably seen that costume 3 times on 3 different female cosplayers. That's about it. But the most that's cosplayed out of that film was Harley and Black Canary. Like, Huntress is in the film. Nobody really cosplays her.
Which I love. Like, that's somebody that should have a little more hype that doesn't get it.
Yeah.
I think the movie wasn't just badass, because I love badass women that can kick ass, and I did not get that.
And they're there. It's just it's WB. That's what it is.
I guess they wanted. I guess because they wanted kids to watch it too, so they're like, we can't do too much. I don't know if that's the reason why.
That's whack.
Right. I need her to like kick his head off. Like, right. That's the action that I love. And I wasn't getting that, so I'm like,
they tried. They actually tried this
previews, and then you're like, if you are supposed to be maybe not the polar opposite of the Joker, but you're basically like Joker.
Right.
Joker is Prince in your vanity. You're supposed to match up a little bit.
Right. I'm like, oh my God, she's being nice.
Yeah. So if
like, what the hell?
Yeah.
John says, when I first saw BOP, I was irked by the character change of Black Canary, but not for ethnicity change. I actually love when media allows that. They do it a lot in the Netflix irregulars. That's true. But Black Canary kicked ass in the movie. BOP is worth it for Margot, Black Canary, and Black Mask. Obi-Wan is very good in that overacted role. He did. Ewan McGregor did overact a lot as Black Mask in that movie, but it was worth it.
He seemed like he did in the previews, but I thought that was on purpose. So I was like, I'm with it.
Yeah. He was very, I don't want to say flamboyant, but yeah, he was flamboyant and just, Ewan McGregor's a good actor. Hell, he's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He was giving me vibes like his boy did in Thor Ragnarok, because I was not expecting him to be a villain. And I was like, where did you come from? And he played it perfectly. Yeah,
so there's moments in it, there's some standout characters and some standout actors actually that really pull it off. So yeah. So the main topic of the show is, WB has done so much damage to the Snyderverse, basically. Ray Fisher has been touted as coming out and saying there was some offensive things being done, said the conduct that was taking place on the set was not professional. He was saying things like what did he say? He said he had to explain what would be offensive when working with Joss Whedon and was threatened for it. Gal Gadot has come out to say she supports Ray Fisher. Jason Momoa has come out to say he supports Ray Fisher. This is
he was one of the first ones to say something too after he said something. Jason backed him up first.
Yeah, and
I'm like, how are y'all bullying Jason on the set?
I think he knows better. But yeah, Gal Gadot has stated, and this is her as Wonder Woman. She said she had some moments on the set as well, but she said her experience with Joss Whedon wasn't the best one. She said that she took care of it right away. She went to the higher ups, and they fixed the problem. And she supports Ray, and so this leads the question. And it's nothing against Gal Gadot. But we see the underlying issue as, here you have a black man who is playing for DC, the first black superhero on a theatrical live action screen.
Right.
So the vision that him and Zack Snyder had was what we got in the HBO Max series or the HBO Max movie.
You better speak that into existence. Cyborg series.
Yeah, he wanted to show this man's pain and what he came from to what he is now. And there's been a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, we don't want to see the backstory." I'm like, well, how do you get the guy who we see on Teen Titans without first exploring the fact that this guy lost both his parents?
Right.
They died in front of him. He almost died. We pretty much did die. And here you are trying to deal with this. You don't get the happy-go-lucky cyborg that we've been used to seeing lately. Right. You don't get that. You got to get this version first. He has to come from somewhere, and that was the story they were trying to tell. And when he was going out and he was speaking out and saying that, the conduct that when Joss Whedon took over, they made him redo lines. They pretty much forced him to say the booyah line. And why I loved hearing him say booyah in the cartoon and everything. I understand why he was uncomfortable with it. He was like, no, that's not the direction he needs to be in. There's no way he comes onto the screen happy about the way he looks, about losing his life and losing his mother. And,
of course, been more on his side as soon as he started with a statement saying abuse.
Yeah.
He used the word abusive.
And I think, a lot of people were, because I've never seen Ray Fisher before this. And I hope to see him in other things after this. And it raises the question of why wasn't his experience taken more seriously?
Easy. It's
and we know
easy.
why. we know why.
White privilege.
Yeah, and that's what it boils down to, because Gal Gadot, like she said, she was forced to change. She was forced to change some of her lines that she didn't like, and whatever it was she dealt with, she went to the higher ups just as well. And Josh threatened her job, and she's like, "Well, what are you gonna do?"
Right. I think for her, we have the Me Too movement, so that was easy to take care of. And I feel like when it comes to men, even though they say, "Yo, this is happening to us too," because they just brush them off, we don't really,
right.
It's not up in our face with it. And I think it's kind of unfair that
Definitely.
we overpass men that goes through these things too, even though they're in the industry too. So it's like, it's not just white privilege too, it's also because she's a woman, and then we have the Me Too situation. Unfortunately, we're not concerned what men is going through. We just like, you're a man, you're supposed to take that. So it's like,
that's the stigma, and that's the stigma.
Right.
Too. So yeah.
And it wasn't his first time being abusive towards other men. Because I was like looking up like all this stuff that I found on him, just an article, because somebody did like a chronological timeline, and apparently like this goes back to Firefly Buffy shit. And James Marsters said, I guess a long time ago, like, hey, he kind of cornered me and was pissed because I was becoming popular. He's played Spike on the show, for those that don't know.
Right.
But he was becoming popular. He wasn't supposed to be that popular. He wasn't even supposed to be on the show that long. And he was jealous because I guess Josh was cutting up on set because his wife already told on him in the middle of the divorce. Was basically like, you were cheating and doing stuff you had no business doing on set, to the point where the little girl who was a teenager at the time that played Buffy's sister, Dawn, there was a rule on set. She came out, Michelle Trachtenberg, who also was Harriet the Spy. That's a little tricky fun fact for you guys. Great Nickelodeon show, great book. But there was a rule on set that he was not to be alone with her again, which means something happened with you and an underage girl, and you've been allowed to work in this business for how long? And I think that poses an even bigger problem beyond race, because, well, not beyond race, it's still racial, because you have, not in every industry, but perverted white men in these higher, powerful seats that, of course, condone the behavior and cover up for other perverted white men. So that infrastructure in itself needs to kind of come down in all type of ways. We need people with integrity in positions of power. We need more POCs in positions of power. And of course, more women, or those who identify as women. At this point, I don't fucking care. But the point is, this whole hierarchy of white man is the top as far as who gets to be in charge, who gets to call the shots. And apparently he was all the stuff that I read, because I'd never gone that deep into it. So I read like every accusation and what they pinpointed to. It's really sick. But that one about Michelle stood out the most to me, because I'm like, we just got done ripping into R. Kelly and got him out of here quick. What's the hold up with Josh? Because this is an accusation with a young girl, and I bet you it's not his first time with a young girl, because he kind of flippantly said he was wilding out and enjoying the power of being the producer and the person calling the shots. And you have a lot of young, impressionable actors and boom operators and whoever's on the set, because they want to work in the industry. And they get so kind of thirsty for that. Even Charisma Carpenter, who, if anybody ever watched Angel or Buffy, gorgeous woman, still a bad bitch of the galaxy. Shout out to you. Amazing. And she was getting picked at and got scheduled for 1 a.m. call times because she was pregnant. And Josh asked her, are you keeping it?
Yeah, right.
Girl, because he was not on her, kind of basically ruining the storyline and having to adjust. And he was acting a fool, from what I read.
It's what caused her to get wrote out of Angel. Bless you. It's what got her wrote out of Angel, was because
she left out of nowhere, and I was just like, "What happened to Cordelia?" So now, like, that everybody's saying all this stuff, it's making more sense. But it's so sad, because it's like, you've been allowed to do this, but I know The only way
so
you're allowed to
long.
do something like this for so long, girl. And the only reason he was allowed to do something like this is because people above you agreed with this behavior because they're doing it too. And you guys were all covering for each other. But now they might throw you under the bus to save themselves, because when you got to take out one of your own, it was the same thing with R. Kelly. It's like, ain't no damn way he was getting away with this by himself. He had help.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He had help.
He definitely had help.
So it leaves a lot the question that's on the board. Not only that, not even if you weren't doing it and you're higher up and you weren't doing it, you were benefiting from it.
Absolutely.
You know, so it just says it raises a lot of questions, like why, you know, we know why Ray Fisher wasn't taken seriously. We know it. The writing is on the wall. We know why. But the stigma should not be there as a whole. You know, this man had a problem. He addressed it. He kept addressing it. Like, you know, some people, they wait out of fear. You know, they wait for several years out of fear, you know, of losing their job or whatever the case may be. They might be the main breadwinner for all we know.
Right.
This young brother said, no, this shit ain't right. And spoke on it. And they
spoke his truth hard.
And he stuck to his guns. Congratulations to you, Ray Fisher, for sticking to your guns. I'm backing you. And, you know, because the whole time he was saying it, I'm like, well, what was done? You know, that was the question. I was like, what happened? What was done? You know, I was more concerned, like, well, what exactly was done? You keep talking about it, but what was said? What was done? And I got that they had to investigate it, so it was probably like a gag order to some degree, and he couldn't go into detail. But he called out some folks. He was like, no, you, Josh Whedon, you're wrong. Jeff Johns, you were wrong. He called out one of the heads of the WB executive branch.
As he should, because y'all are all in bed together. And we know it was something racial. I'm sorry. Anytime it involves us and we're talking about inappropriate, especially if you're not a woman.
He didn't sacrifice himself.
He did. He didn't
sacrifice
and somewhere in the acting world, somebody's seeing this and they're saying, no, this shouldn't be happening to him. Come over here to us, you know, Tyler Perry, you know, come on over here. Like,
Tyler, you done grab the Royals up. Go ahead and grab Ray up. Get everybody
Ray for something.
Yeah, you know. So you know, it's that stigma has to go away. It has to just go away. We know what's going on. You know, we're in a stage now in life where things are so much more out front and in your face that you can't ignore it, or it can't be hidden, or it can't be swept away. You know, there's technology, there's cell phones.
I love that.
You know, there's people who's willing to speak up. You know, like I said, Ray Fisher was willing to speak up in his truth, and he stood by it, and he said, you know what, I'm indebted, and I'm still doing what I need to do. Right. And the fact that he actually had support from people like Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa, and they like, hey, yeah, there was some fucked up shit going on the set, and we're backing him. You know, that says a lot. You know, it says a lot. You know, so it's just like, hey,
I know Josh is under the fire right now, but I'm like, we know you're not the only one. You're not the only producer, writer. The Me Too movement proved that. It's like Weinstein ain't the only Weinstein. Y'all out here wilding out, and most people just take the check and go home because they're just happy to work. They want to be a star or whatever. But had Ray not said anything, I'm like, I wonder if Gal and Jason would have even mentioned any of this, or do you just take your check?
Exactly. That stands a question too. You know, it's a shame that he lost his position to play Cyborg in the next Flash movie, whenever the hell they decide to shoot that. But at this point, you know, like, dude, you didn't lose out, because
he didn't.
They
He's
can't
a great actor.
Yeah,
he's a great actor. So I don't feel like he lost anything.
No,
I just feel like when it comes to white Hollywood, they make us work extra harder than the actual, you know, white actor. So it's, you know, it's kind of, that's why I like created Dope Girlz. Like, when I want to like hire someone for my characters, I'm going to strictly only my Black folks. Right? And then, you know, there's people that in the comments, are you gonna have any white characters in Dope Girlz? Like, no, you can't make me. You know, you can't make me. you're gonna have to hire black actors, black actresses.
That's it, yeah.
You know,
I mean, they said the same thing. People were upset about Black Panther. It was like pretty much a 99% black film. Where's the white people? I'm like, it's in Africa. Just
we've seen enough of you white folks.
Listen, even if it wasn't in Africa, like you said, we've seen enough. We've been saturated with it. And as soon as something's not for you, that also goes to privilege. Because when we say privilege, we're not always talking about money and finances.
Right.
There are plenty of times we are actually talking about how you get to move in this world, and you are always being represented and seen. And as soon as something is not for you, you can't handle it. And you don't complain about it with everybody, because there's a lot of different ethnicities that can pass, right? Because sometimes people don't know, oh, you were Asian, or oh, you're Hispanic, because you almost passed for white. A lot of us ain't passing what nobody in Black Panther passing. This was clearly for us an undeniable black film, and you were mad about it. And even anybody that was even mad about it or saying they weren't going to see it, I ain't gonna lie, I side-eyed, whether I was friends with them or not, because I'm just like, you watching every other Marvel film, but you can't watch this one.
Right.
You can't see yourself in it. But we spend our whole lives not seeing ourselves in shit. You gotta be fine with it. Just be well with the fan on. No,
even in X-Men movies, I don't see a lot of black mutants.
No.
So please,
and the one you gave us, you shitted on. So I mean, come
on. Storm only make it snow and like not kicking ass.
I'm like, where is my Storm? Where's the one who talks like a regal? Who talks with like a royal, like she's royal, because she is royal.
No,
where's that sister at?
No, like
no. And all we get is different versions of Jean Grey for 10, 20 years. Like, damn.
Right on the money. It's only offensive when we do it. You're right. That's how they look at it.
Then they're like, that's racist. I'm like, it's racist for my son to be able to look up to a character that looks like him.
That's exactly.
Okay.
So that's exactly why I'm doing the Girlz, and that's why we stand for this. Only black. I can't say only black because I am immigrant. So it's like, maybe I will create something that have all of us in there, so they don't feel like they're left out too. So it's like, or maybe I'll have something with reverse slavery, you know. Oh my God, Lena Saint going crazy.
There's a book out about that though. I found it on Amazon, which is trying to reimagine the world if we had did that to them. And there were people even in the comments that hadn't even read the book on Amazon that were just like, this is just really just not anything. And what was the point of this? And I'm like, our ancestors would probably have to say, what was the point?
There's a movie that was done in somewhere in the 90s, and it starred John Travolta and Harry Belafonte, and the movie was called Another Man's Burden. And the roles of the movie was completely reversed. The black it was like in the world, the black people were the well-off. We had black influences, we had black privilege and everything else. And John Travolta's character was the middle or the lower class white people. And there were so many people that were so upset.
I believe it.
You know, and this was in the 90s. Can you imagine if they pulled that stunt now with that?
The keyboard warriors are upset. Now, I saw this article. This was crazy too. One of the royals died.
That's right. It was. That's right, Max. White man's burden. That's what it was.
Prince Philip died. Palpatine. Someone called him Palpatine. I was weak. They said he was Palpatine. Palpatine died.
Palpatine. Finally.
It was so funny. But I guess Harry and his wife made a statement, and it was brief. And I just, for fun, went in the comment section. Of course, everybody is not of color in the comments, like, oh, you guys keep that to yourselves, and you have some nerve saying blah, 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 like attacking like Meghan was going to see it. And I'm like, this energy is not for Harry. You still upset that he married this black girl, which full circle to the black community. This should really, moments like this and moments like what happened to the girl that played Black Canary. Sorry, I forgot her name already.
Oh, Jenny Smollett.
Moments like that should let y'all see, again, like Jay-Z says, still nigga. It don't matter how light bright you think you are. This colorism in our community has to stop, because those women could be racially ambiguous. And it still doesn't matter because they're still like, no, you're not us. You're not. It doesn't matter what your hair grade is, what your skin color is. That should force us to just gather more around each other, not just entertainers, but us, period. Right. Our community have our backs like nobody else is going to, because no one else is going to look out for us like we look out for us. And even turn this back into your art and what you do. Keep pushing these POC characters and fuck everything else, because they're not pushing for us to be represented. No. They're not thinking, well, what about these people? And the only time they do is when it messes with their pockets, when they're worried about being canceled. Then it's like, well, how do we cater to the Black people? Because if you notice, a lot of people are doing that now. Hell, even Netflix, they will change the title screen of a show to the one Black character in the show, because now we have a whole Black Lives, Matter selection for you. You didn't fucking care before. I would much rather have you rest in your authentic racist truth than to give me.
That way I know where you stand.
Yeah, I know where you stand. And then the next wave that comes through, because this will die down, unfortunately. I hope it doesn't. But on a lot of their end, this will die down and it'll go to the next money grab, whether it be the LGBT community or something else. They'll just go to where the money's going. So I'm like, nah, fuck that fake shit. I don't like that at all.
I love it. Max says it's called pandering, and it is. It's pandering.
Yeah, it's a lot of pandering.
So we are at the part of the show where Brandy or Candi does her lightning round. So here's our section. Lightning round. Candi B, take it away.
All right, girl. So for the lightning round, I'm gonna ask you some questions, and you're just gonna be bam off the dome. Some of them you can take your time to think. We're not gonna put you on a time limit. But some of these I thought of specifically for you after I did my stalking. And other ones I was just like, this will just be fun to ask. So ready to go. Prince or Michael?
Oh, Michael.
Okay.
That one always gets people like,
it's such a hard balance. That is such a hard balance.
Prince is self-absorbed. I get that vibe from him. Like he's just and Michael is just like, thank you all, I love you all. So
I thought that was the appeal of Prince, that he just don't seem to give a fuck. All right, painting or drawing?
Drawing.
Reading or writing?
Writing.
Singing or dancing?
Dancing.
Drums or flats?
Drugs.
What was that?
Weed. It's the weed.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
420 coming up.
That was funny as hell. Oh my god. Cocoa butter or shea butter?
Oh my god, shea butter.
That's
shea
hard.
Butter.
Blasphemy. No. Moesha or the Parkers?
Oh my god. Moesha.
This is not hard.
I always wanted to be Moesha. So
who didn't?
Right.
Brandy's a legend. But shout out to the Parkers though. I like the Parkers too. I like
Kim Parker, Nikki Parker.
I like all them. Although the way the cancel culture going, Nikki, you finna get canceled for us.
Oh my god. Oh my god. The way she was going after the professor. My god.
The harassment.
But she got him though at the end. She got him.
Just to wear somebody down that doesn't
Urkel did it.
Stefan.
It's still Stefan did that.
Well, Stefan did the wearing out, but she ended up going Urkel. So
well, I already know the answer to this one. The Matrix or Kill Bill?
Oh, that's hard because I love the Matrix too.
But you said.
Okay, Kill Bill.
That's what you said. Okay. Now this is something that I could not answer myself. And if I cross the line, because I realize it's going to be a polarizing question, probably for any generation. Would you rather go without wigs or makeup?
Oh.
Right. I know. I could never. Could never.
Okay, because I shaved my hair off 3 times, I will go with I'd rather makeup.
You said you'll go without makeup?
No, I'll go without wigs. I'll keep the makeup.
Oh, but you did the changing looks.
Yeah, I could shave
the
the
Dora
hair and
Milaje.
go
Look
back.
at them, and they're gorgeous.
But
No, they
makeup,
are, but they have to look like that all the time. And you know, I like to switch my looks like I'm under witness protection program. And you can't do that.
That's true.
You can't do it. You couldn't
You
just
know how many times wigs saved my life from, oh my God, are you Tina? Are you? Oh no.
See? They saved your life. No, I'm not. I'm someone different because I have different hair.
People will literally come up to me like, "Are you Lena?" I'm like, "No, I'm Catherine." No, you're Lena.
Like, no, Lena has red hair. Catherine.
She just got a name and she just pulled a name. I'm Catherine.
Right.
I don't know who this is.
And women don't know how to do nothing else. We know how to lie about our names very quickly.
Right.
Very quickly.
The way Candy's eyes went out, like she's shooting that out to somebody who like who is it? I'll find out. Don't worry.
Well,
step off and leave her alone. I got her back.
No, actually, I did have to block somebody because get this, girl, get this. The girl was for her, not you, Chris. I know sometimes
I kind of figured that much.
I do that with my men that I'm really close with. I'm like, girl, I'm like, oh, I forgot y'all not one of them. But anyway, you know, posted a selfie or whatever. And this guy was like, he's normally always comments. I thought he was harmless. And then he writes this paragraph and it's like the middle of the fucking night. And he writes this paragraph and he's like, oh, this is what I expect to see you in one time for cosplay. And of course, the girl ain't had no fucking clothes on. And it wasn't even a character that naturally has no clothes on, like Emma Frost, who's just a naked bitch. This was just like, she ain't got no clothes on. Like, what's going on? And then he was just like, yeah, he said something. He was like, love you. Good night. The love you sent me. I've never met this guy. I really talked to him through the internet. And this mug said, love you. I've never blocked somebody faster. Like people are effing.
This is why sometimes like I purposely go on live with Max looking like a crackhead because it's like don't bother. Yeah.
Like this is what I really look like. Don't come over here.
Right. This is why I do it. Right. But thank God, like people was like, oh my God, sis is having a bad day. We just gonna let her look like how she wants to look today.
Not sis is having a bad day.
Right. Yeah. So
like this is how I woke up. Leave me alone. Oh, and then I have like one last question. It's just artist choosing again, Beyonce or Rihanna.
Oh. Okay, I'm tired of Beyonce. Oh my God, I hope the beehives don't come for me.
They about to come right now. Fuck you, me.
It's just she needs to make room for more people.
Ain't no making room. No. Bow down.
She gotta share.
Bow down, bitches.
She gotta. I need somebody new.
I can understand that 'cause she has been running the game since she's been 16. You bitches could never. But
a mentor.
My thing is, like, they need to like step it up. But you know, I don't even think that's
they are stepping it up.
That's not her fault.
Beyonce ain't letting them eat too.
No, that's not her fault. That's the industry, because you know what they do with women of color. There can only be one. That's what they was doing with the female rappers. They were only hyping up one.
Comedians too, yeah.
Yeah, they were only hyping up one. There's no way that Nicki Minaj should have been winning all those awards for that whole time. And I like Nicki. This is no shade. Right. But there were other rappers out, underground and above ground. So I'm just like, why are you? They just pick one and they just latch on to that. And that's not to take away from talented, because Beyonce is very talented. I think Nicki Minaj is very talented. But I'm like,
Beyonce's very talented.
I feel like they're
Rihanna. I'm gonna go with Rihanna.
Okay.
Whatever. And I like Rihanna though. I do. I like her too.
So I love her business mind.
Listen,
she's very business minded. My God.
Girl, have you bought any of her stuff?
Girl.
It's amazing.
Jeez.
Amazing. I don't think I barely get anybody else's makeup unless somebody gifts me something. But
I just don't like the foundation.
I think you just kind of were you just hinting at your friend to. Is that what you were just doing just now?
No, I wasn't hinting.
Because I know you just did your half birthday thing. So I did.
I definitely got gifts for half birthdays. I know. If you never celebrated it, everybody out there, do half birthdays. If you hype it up enough, people give you gifts for half birthdays and your real birthday. Ask me how I know. Yeah. So
before we get out of here, I know Candi B has a gift. She has a little side thing that she does, and she took up ballroom dancing. So it behooved me to not tell her, like, do you know who's going to be on the next Dancing with the Stars?
No, who?
I'm going to show you right now.
He took the time to do that shit, and it completely caught me off guard because I was like, "What the?" Dumb AF. That was offbeat even. I'm like, what music do you hear that other people do not hear? Like, is what I really want to ask. Like, what are you listening to in your head? And then awkwardly looking around. You ain't supposed to look at nobody else while you're dancing. There we go. Who looks at other people?
Oh my God. So Lena Saint, I want to thank you for coming on to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, I'm supposed to have my website soon, so look forward to that. Look, you know what I mean. I get tongue twisted because I speak Creole, you guys.
That's okay.
Yes, I have a website coming soon. Right now we're on Dope Girls Comics at Instagram. That's Dope Girls Comics, girls with a Z and comics with an S at the end.
All right. And before we get to Candi B, a friend John Wood says Zemo may be more white than I am.
I'm gonna dance like that.
Oh, Candi B.
It's so hard to clap off beat. Like that is
like
difficult.
But what if he does go on there and he's on beat? That would be
no, if you go in there and kill it, we all eat crow.
So, Candi B, tell everybody where they can find you.
Where my name says, I think I'm doing that from now on. I point this way, yeah. And Candi B Cosplay is where I'm going to push everyone to, because I launched a cosplay page finally. It's the same thing for Facebook. And I'm describing it as like a campy glam kind of cosplay page. Because I like to glamorize looks that are already done, but I also like really corny shit. Like I have some stuff I want to do Repairman from all that.
Oh boy.
I like really stupid stuff, but then I have some Fran Fine stuff I want to do because the nanny was my shit. So follow the cosplay page to get some great content, to see me build some stuff, even to throw me ideas, because I'm open to people saying, hey, have you thought about this character?
From Afro Demon.
Listen, I have a list of artists that I want to get to, my Black artists, because the characters are already us. It's just now I did an outfit, and instead of trying to make a character I'm Black, you know what I mean? By changing it, like, well, I want to do Raven, well, I want a purple fro. Like, I like seeing people do that, but it's nice to already have somebody that's built for you. And then it's like, girl, just throw on this black, and I already got some boots. So that's it. Y'all better be glad we can't go to BlurCon this year, because that'd be a wrap for y'all.
Yeah.
Best shoes. I'm gonna make up some dialogue.
Jesus. Well, I'm Chris Fury. I'm your host, Chris Fury. You can be sure to tune in and subscribe to the Facebook page, Blerds Eyeview, and the YouTube page for the latest updates in the Blurred world, which we're heading over to right now to talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's at 10 o'clock. So check us out also on Instagram at Blerds_Eyeview, all lowercase, and tune in every Saturday, because next Saturday we have a photo shoot. We are not shooting next Saturday.
Yeah.
And so as we continue to showcase our other POC creatives in the geek world and genres, until next mission, I'm Chris Fury along with Candi B. Thank you for coming on, Lena Saint from Dope Girls Comics.
And shout out to Bristol Media Group.
Shout out Bristol Media.
Bristol Media. Bad Bitch Galaxy. Kill Venus.
We waiting for them all. Until
Yes.
next time,
Thank
I'm
you.
General Chris
Thank
Fury,
you so
along with
much.
Candi B. Lena Saint, thanks for coming on. Remember to educate yourself and others, entertain yourself and others, and most of all, encourage yourself and others. And until next mission, this is General Chris Fury. We're out.